What is up, guys? Gamer Dude back once again to bring you some rather interesting news for today. Now, first things first, before we start this video, I want to give a huge shout out to all my subscribers. We have Damien Bartlett, Blazing710-420, Real Soul Gaming, Direct Virus, and I Am Groot. I'll keep the shout out short because this is a video I've wanted to cover for quite a while. So, ever since Batman Arkham Knight launched back in 2015, fans of Rocksteady Studios have been really kind of hoping that something else would come out of the development team. You know, because they've been really quiet ever since. We've not heard anything from them, well, except a few little rumours swirling around about a Superman game that came along, then was cancelled, then came along again, then was cancelled again. So, rumours have been circulating about what they're going to do next. With the latest one claiming that the mysterious game could possibly be revealed at the next year's E3 conference. The rumour stems from a post on something called Reset Era. I think it's a forum page or something. The person who posted it is a freelancer who claims that Rocksteady's next game will be announced either in early 2019 or at E3 itself. On a milestone they meet Al-Maki, I think it is, stop short of going into specifics about Rocksteady's game, which usually means when they're stopped dead about something, it usually means that something is coming. As it's like, whoa, 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 don't you dare say anything else, or you're fired, basically. So, it did suggest that it's not a Marvel game, which I'm kind of glad it's not, because after Spider-Man was released, we're kind of hoping that Sony and whatnot, maybe Fox, I don't know, will release the next couple of Spider-Man games or the next couple of Marvel games. Rocksteady, to me, I see Rocksteady and I see Batman. No question about it, I just see Batman. So presumably it's working on another title based on a DC Comics character, and the rumour has circulated that it's going to be a Batman Arkham Universe game, which I will go into detail about in this video. The most persistent rumour has been that Rocksteady is working on the Superman game, as I've said in this video. But given Superman's really unreliable history with video games, it's unlikely. I mean, I wouldn't put my money on it, to be fair, because one of the last Superman games I played was actually on the PS2, and I think it was called Brainiac Rises. I'm not too sure because I played it and then got rid of it. It was just awful. But the Superman game for the Nintendo 64 is listed as one of the worst games of all time, and I am actually inclined to agree. It was just god-awful. I mean, I'm not sure they've made any decent Superman game, to be fair. I mean, DC Universe wasn't bad, it gave us a different take on Superman, but we didn't play as him. But it still kind of felt like we were in that sort of universe with Batman and Superman. The challenge of making basically an invincible character fun to play, it's really difficult, because in Batman you kind of feel mortal. You feel like this character's going to die if I don't dodge this attack, if I don't beat this guy up in the correct way, these guys are going to take me down. But in Superman you get punched and it's just like, you're just going to look at him and be like, really? Did you just punch me? Really? That, you know, that kind of deal. But it would certainly be interesting to see Rocksteady's take on the Man of Steel. I mean, let me know your thoughts in the comments about that, guys. It would be interesting to hear if you would like to see that Superman game finally come out. So, past rumours have indicated that the Superman game supposedly in development for the last couple of years after Arkham Knight's release in 2015. It was supposedly titled World's Finest. and will feature open world with Brainiac as the main villain. Combat would apparently be similar to the Dragon Ball Z games, and the game is said to be set in the Arkham universe, of course, because it's Rocksteady. None of that information has actually been confirmed by Rocksteady. As I've said, it's just numerous rumours from fans and whatnot circulating on forums. So really, basically, fans should take this message with a massive grain of salt. While it's impossible to verify Rocksteady's, if Rocksteady or any of the other ones are actually telling the truth as to when fans will see their next game in the timeline, but given the timeline of previous Batman games released, it would seem about right that they are ready to drop a new game title on us, and I'm glad it's on current gen. I would hate for the next game consoles to come out and say, well, yeah, this new console's just dropped, so we're releasing it only on this console, screw the X consoles. That's why I was a bit miffed about Arkham Knight, because I had all the original games, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, Arkham Asylum, on the PS3, and when Arkham Knight dropped, I still had a PS3, I hadn't got a PS4. I was like, oh, come on, I want to finish the story, I want to play it. And it was just a kick in the nards, really, so I'm really kind of hoping that they do release it for this current generation of consoles. So after Arkham Knight was finished and shipped in 2015, the game has apparently, well, their next game has apparently been in development for the last 3 years after that point. If so, then it's more likely that the timeline they will release it in 2019 or 2020, given if there's any postponements or whatnot, or if they are actually ready to drop a trailer on us in 2019. Does that say they've been working on this game for years and it's near enough ready to be distributed to stores? That'd be really cool to find out, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Now I've done a lot of research for this video, and basically I'm super psyched. I'm super excited. I love the Arkham universe. The Arkham universe makes you feel like Batman, much like again, rest in peace, but it's like Telltale's Batman. You felt like you were Batman. Now, given that said about Telltale's Batman, actually, with Robert Kirkman purchasing the rights to The Walking Dead, has he or will he purchase the rights to the Batman as well? Because after The Enemy Within, we were kind of expecting something to drop after it, especially with that ending that they gave us on Enemy Within. It hinted that, you know, the Joker was going to be a big part of it, that they supposedly didn't kill off the Riddler after all, that it wasn't actually the Riddler that died, sort of thing. But I don't know, I'm skipping ahead of myself. But let's find out. I suppose we'll have to find out next year. So, as I've said, Rocksteady may be about to break its much anticipated long silence with the announcement of a new game that will, I quote this as well, blow fans away. So what else could blow fans away but another Batman game? And this Batman game, it would have to be the holy grail of Batman games. Because even though Rocksteady didn't officially take part in Arkham Origins was still a fantastic story, and I didn't even know at first that it wasn't Mark Hamill that voiced the Joker. It took me at least 3 playthroughs to realise that it wasn't Mark Hamill, as well as the voice of Batman. I mean, I could tell almost immediately that it wasn't Kevin Conroy, but the guy voicing him, he sounded just like him. But I am wondering if they make another Batman series, if they will bring back Mark Hamill as the Joker. Will it be set before the events of Arkham Knight? Because obviously, if you played Arkham Knight, you know it's the end. You know, Batman blew himself up, basically. He revealed himself. There can't be a Batman in this world anymore. But yeah, continuing on. So, in light of the rumours of the Harry Potter game that's been referenced around, that Rocksteady was working on that, I'm not sure if any of you guys have heard about that, but basically there's a new Harry Potter game coming out. It's open world, it's bigger than any other Harry Potter game we've seen, it's set in the 15th century, and it was supposedly announced that Rocksteady was working on it. But then that rumour was completely debunked, and it was just written off. And it's been rumoured now that their highly anticipated game will actually be a Batman Arkham universe. So it's suggested it's obviously going to be set around Gotham City, but it's going to feature the entire Bat family. So we have Batman, Batgirl, obviously it's going to be before Arkham Knight and before the Killing Joke, so will Mark Hamill return as the Joker? I really hope so. So yeah, it's going to have Robin, possibly Nightwing. It might not have Nightwing if it's set before that, because, well, you know, Dick Grayson could still be Robin. I don't know that sort of stuff yet. Or will he actually be Nightwing, and we'll see a kiddie version of Robin? You know, a kid Tim Drake. That'd be kind of interesting to see, like, if we have a kid Robin in the game, much like back on the PS2 there was Batman Rise of Sin Tzu. You actually played as a kid version of Robin. It was super hilarious, just to flip dudes twice your size, just over your head. It was super hilarious. So the leaker dropped a lot of interesting information about this game. Some of it may or may not be true, but I'm going to tell you guys anyway, because I've done the research on it, and let's see what we've got. So the release date for this game is supposedly in the fall of 2019, so I'm guessing that's summer, end of summertime. Current gen consoles, so Xbox One, PS4, PS4 Pro, PC, etc. It'll have single player, co-op, multiplayer, specific multiplayer modes, I might add. Characters including, as I've said, the entire Bat family: Batman, Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl, Batwoman, Catwoman, Red Hood. Has anyone else had that problem where you feel like you just want to call the Red Hood Robin Hood? I mean, yeah, Red Hood kills and Robin Hood steals to give to the rich, but yeah, it's still the same principle, really. Anyway, back on track. So, Gotham is supposedly like 1.5 times bigger than the Arkham Knight universe. So there'll be more districts, more neighborhoods, definitely more to complete, and apparently the engine for the game has had a major complete overhaul. So I'll be really interested to see where they go with this. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that as well. So they've said this in quotation marks: Gotham is now a living, breathing city. So I'm guessing that means with how big the map's going to be, you'll get to use the Batwing, you'll get to use the Batmobile, you get to go to the Batcave. So that'll be really cool to explore all the trophies. You know, maybe that giant T-Rex dinosaur thing is going to be there. You'll be able to explore Wayne Manor, possibly even play as Bruce Wayne himself. That'd be really cool as well. So the time of day varies, because it actually has, and this is only a rumour as well, it actually has a complete day and night cycle. So during the day, we get missions as Bruce Wayne, Tim Drake, or Selina Kyle, or anything like that. Something similar to what we saw in the Spider-Man game, you know, where you played as Mary Jane and Miles Morales, and they were just mixing day and night cycles in with that. So that'd be really cool as well. So obviously, as in Arkham Knight, Arkham City and whatnot, there's obviously going to be random street crimes, car chases, bank robberies, muggings and so forth. And this is also another rumour, but apparently the main villain, the main protagonists of the game will be the Court of Owls. Now, if anybody has watched the Gotham TV series, you will know what the Court of Owls are, and they covered the Court of Owls beautifully. I must say, it was so comic book accurate to how the Court of Owls actually acted. I just couldn't get over that whole story arc of it. then Ra's al Ghul turned up, but that's a video for another day. So the main story, supposedly, as I've just said, takes inspiration from the different Court of Owls storylines. So they'll probably take aspects from the comic books, maybe from the Gotham TV show, so we'll see some familiar faces, like the Joker may return, probably Ra's al Ghul, because Ra's al Ghul only appeared in one of the games, and it was Arkham City. And then, as we saw, he was like impaled on that fence at the end, and then we went back to see his body, and his body was gone, and the sword was there, so that could bring back Ra's al Ghul. I think if they do that, it's going to be set in between the events of Arkham City and Arkham Knight. So they'll be like, after Arkham City, there wasn't much of a time skip. I think there was only like a 9-month time skip. So it'll probably happen in those 9 months between the two games, which would be really cool as well. So I'm just wondering to myself as well, what do you guys think about this? Because, as I've said, I really love the whole Batman Arkham family. I mean, I've been a huge fan of it since Arkham Asylum, and it's like I've followed this story as much as I've followed Telltale's Walking Dead story, and I feel like Arkham Knight isn't the end, because there were so many bits and pieces of it that were just wrong. Like this scene in particular that I've got on the screen, the Batmobile was a tank, and it was just all scenes with the Batmobile involved weapons, shooting, blowing up tanks. It was just all tank. There was no real like stealth aspects with the Batmobile. Like you felt like it was just underutilized. You felt like it was like, well, the whole game is based around this vehicle. It's like, what's the point of it? I might as well just use this vehicle in all of the missions. So, continuing on anyway, every character will supposedly be available in free mode. So I'm guessing you'll have to go to like a point to switch between the characters. So you'll be playing as Batman, and you might have to go to Wayne Manor or Wayne Tower to switch to Nightwing or Robin or Catwoman or whatnot. Batman has a redesigned Batmobile, which is going to be used for transport only. And other characters have their bikes and cycles and whatnot. So that's really cool as well, because as I've just said about the Batmobile, I really want to see a different Batmobile. Like the Batmobile from Arkham Asylum, for example, that looked so much like the Batmobile from the animated series way back in the 90s. And I really did like that Batmobile. I thought that was a cool Batmobile. I mean, it is a skin in this game, but obviously you've got to pay for it with the season pass, which does kind of suck. But continuing on, so each of the Bat characters will have their own unique series of upgrades. So there'll be new game modes, new missions based on those gadgets that you unlock. Guessing it'll be similar to the update thing that they've had going on for the previous Batman games, where you just level up Batman, level up his armor and such like that. Gameplay's similar to the past Arkham games, but there's supposedly new options for co-op, like co-op in the game, so you can use the Bat family to help you out in combat. So with stealth takedowns, dual takedowns, things like that, rather than you having to swing from gargoyle to gargoyle to gargoyle to gargoyle just to take each one of them out. So that's really cool as well, because in the stealth aspects of the previous Batman games, it would take quite a while to take out a whole room filled with enemies, just because like you're trying so hard not to get seen. So it'd be really cool to have some help in that area. So stealth segments will, as I've just said, they will make you work together with Robin, Selina Kyle and whatnot. Parkour has been expanded. Now, the introduction of the parkour, it kind of seems like most game developers that do open world free roam stuff are going to copy off Spider-Man. Because the parkour in Spider-Man is beautifully designed, it is so perfect. And I feel like when Batman parkours, he does sort of similar things to Spider-Man, minus the webs, of course. But he'll just hop over something like Spider-Man will. He'll leap over something or leap under something like Spider-Man would. So I really think that would be quite similar, especially with the parkour. So characters will move a lot quicker, be more fluent. The gameplay will feel less laggy and less clumsy, and it'll just be more fluid, basically. So main gadgets are supposedly going to be the same, except for a couple of new additions. So I'm not really sure what they can add, because each Batman game has had its own series of unique gadgets. I mean, it'd take me forever to name them all, so I'm not going to bother naming them all. New enemy types as well, so they include talons and pilots, enemies that hover on the battlefield. So that to me just reminds me of Spider-Man, because I'm guessing they'll just be on jetpacks, and you've got to take them down with a grapple or something. Talons are the same as ninja types. So remember in Arkham City you had those League of Shadows ninja things that would disappear and reappear on you? I guess it's going to be similar to that. So they'll also have their own gadgets, like throwing knives and maybe smoke pellets like Batman. So obviously, as I've explained through the video, the game takes place in the Arkham universe. This is supposed to be Rocksteady's true and final hurrah to the Batman series. Now, I am really curious to know what you guys think about it. I would absolutely love for them to make one more game and say, right, even though Arkham Knight was the end of Batman's journey, it was the end of the timeline, it's not the end of the Bat family. So they could set it, as I said, they could set it before, in the months between Arkham City and Arkham Knight, or they could set it after. You know, Bruce Wayne, everybody thinks he's dead, but obviously he's not, because clearly it's Bruce Wayne, he can't die. You know, if any of you seen Return of the Batman, they did a similar story in that as to what they did in Arkham Knight. He faked his own death, but even though he was fighting Superman, but it's still part of my point. He faked his own death and blew up the mansion. Alfred did die. Alfred died of old age, but you know, that's a different story. So I really do think that Bruce Wayne and Alfred are still alive. They're just in hiding. He's decided, because his mask's come off, everyone knows who he is, that he's going to retire. Because the mansion was blown up, but the cave wasn't. The cave is under the house, so the cave is safe. So Bruce Wayne could be living down there for all we know. So my point is, Dick Grayson, Nightwing, Tim Drake, Robin, or any of the other Bat family could come to Batman at that point and say, look, we need your help. The city is in danger. We know everybody knows who you are, but it's just a costume, basically. You could be anyone. Anyone could think that you're anyone. You know, everybody thinks Bruce Wayne's dead, so anyone could be wearing the Batman costume, basically. Or if it's set beforehand, we could see subtle little hints to Arkham City, Arkham Asylum. You might even be able to visit them on the map, because in this one, if you tried going to those specific sections of the map, it would just spin you back around like it did there, unless you did a boundary break and found the glitch to get there. But unfortunately you couldn't stand on the ground, which kind of sucked. I would have liked to explore them again. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. I would really like to hear your thoughts and views on this matter, because the Arkham series is so beautiful. It's beautifully designed, it's beautifully crafted, and it is just an amazing series of games. I mean, I really want Rocksteady to go ahead with this, and if the rumours are true and they are doing this, even if it's not an Arkham Universe game and they tie it in with a Superman game anyway and Batman appears, that'd be really cool, because like you could maybe switch between Batman and Superman. So anyway, that being said, this has been Gamer Dude. Happy gaming, and I will catch you all real soon, guys.